people roughly
to operate
this?
Yeah. It's about 400,000 tons as it was.
But what was the total cast of the show?
The total cast of the show, as far as the regulars are concerned, I think was 8.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
And, which means that there were 442 people that we never saw.
They were down in steerage.
Now, you saw them, but they generally died every week. Those people be killed off.
To what do you attribute now the fact the thing has not been on the network since 1969?
Yeah.
Right.
And you all do these conventions that we'll speak about a little bit later on. What has kept this popularity alive?
Well, Tom, all you have to do, to me, is to look at a show today. And we can look at them. Some shows I have not seen for 9 years. And you just look at them and you say, man, that was a great show. And not just because you were part of the cast, but because the whole story holds up. The stories had such fantastic content to them.
Good writing?
Absolutely beautiful writing. The whole concept from the start that Gene Roddenberry had, so that he could be able to say something for today, but put it 300 years from now and it wouldn't be censored. You understand? It was really a beautiful thing that you could now look at it and still say to yourself, wow, what a great show, because it had something for every age.
Does the fact that you were Scotty, the engineer of the Starship Enterprise, has that in any way gotten in your way in continuing your career as an actor?
Oh, there's no doubt about it, because I have had producers that I have had worked for before Star Trek, and they'll say to my agent now, well, you know, but I don't want a Scotsman. And I worked for them doing maybe a German or a Frenchman or a Lancashire Englishman or a Welshman or an Irishman. And they say, I don't want a Scotsman, because you become typed, and there's no way that you don't. But I think the whole thing is helping to pay off now by the very fact that we're going to be doing a feature motion picture. You know, and I think that what will probably happen is that they will have another feature motion picture after that, and another one after that. As long as they keep the quality up,
and
then I'm sure we'll all be happy to do it.
And the original cast.
Hopefully. The fans really insist on that.
I would think so.
That's one of the parts of the fact that it is such a great show, is that we were lucky in the casting. You'd be surprised. You know, I have a friend of mine who's a dentist who used to work on the MGM lot, and he fixes the teeth of all the big stars, and he says everything depends on luck in this business. And for 35 years, his anniversary, his name is Charles Cavalieri, and his anniversary of 35th anniversary is this coming Thursday, the 5th of February, and he says it's no way that it isn't luck. He said, you have to have the talent, but he says it's luck that gets you really there.
And you lucked in getting all the cast members.
I think everybody lucked in.
To grow together as a real crew on a real starship,
Absolutely.
Which gave something of that reality when the thing was on television. We are blessed by, is it Paramount Pictures, I guess, that's given us permission to show some of the film, and we will do that after these announcements, and I hope all of you will stay with us. John just said one of the questions they're asked a lot is, how come there weren't any bathrooms on the Starship Enterprise? Because they have the blueprints. Give the answers.
You want me to answer that?
Oh, well, nobody ever goes to the bathroom on television. In any show that's ever been done, nobody ever goes to the bathroom.
Well,
this is
you
not
see,
done.
On the Spaceship Enterprise, it was very easy because we did have phasers. And then you set them on disintegrate.
Yes. Aim carefully.
And and aim carefully. And we only had a few losses of personnel in training camp. That's the way it's done.
We aim to please, so please aim. Now, again, thanks to Paramount Pictures for helping us out. We have a portion of an episode called The Omega Glory, which ran during the second season, I believe, here on NBC. And here is how it was and how it still is.
Planet Omega-4, sir. Object ahead. Another vessel in planet orbit, Captain.
Oh, wait a minute. What happened when they boarded and investigated?
Something happened. Something went wrong there.
It's funny. You watched 3-4 minutes of this, or what do we have? 2 minutes here, and I didn't want it to end all.
That's right. I wanted to tell you something, Tom. We were talking about the quality of this show a few minutes ago. It seems too that it had a certain magic about it that touched the hearts and the minds of the young people and people of all ages, that seemed to prod their minds to want to inquire further into the universe and science and philosophies and cultures. And this has reflected throughout all the universities in the United States. You know, kids are doing theses on Star Trek and that sort of thing. And to give you an example, while we were doing Star Trek, a thing that stands out in my mind particularly, a man brought his daughter to the set who was 15 years old, a deeply retarded child. And we occupied 2 sound stages. He didn't bring her directly onto the sound stage because she was tremendously excited about being there. And he explained to me that this girl had not uttered a sound in 15 years. And quite by accident, they flicked on Star Trek. And she began to make noises. And the father became very excited about it. Took her to a therapist. And she began to talk. So now, whatever it was that touched this child's mind is a very satisfying and worthwhile feeling. And our mail reflects that in all categories. People on the verge of suicide, I've received mail that have looked at this show, and their whole attitude about life seems to have changed.
Have any of you found that the overriding philosophies as expressed by the writing and the craftsmanship in Star Trek itself has become a great part of your own personal philosophy of life?
Well,
universality.
Well, I would hope that going in, whatever philosophies I might entertain or I might live by were relatively fixated, relatively a part of me before the show began. I wouldn't like to think that I was proselytized by a television series. I would hope that I have enough intellectual resource to have already formulated those kinds of philosophies for myself. I must say they are compatible with what I believe, very, very much so.
But did this show touch you in any way other than professionally?
I'll tell you how it touched me, and I think this is kind of insightful, if you'll bear with me a minute. The most extraordinary thing about the show for me is really the kind of ironic counterpoint that it has made in terms of my life pattern now and my lifestyle now. Here I am. I go to these Star Trek conventions, as we all do, and I'm quick to say that if it had been any other actor playing the same role, the same thing would have happened to them. But the adulation, the attention, the press, all of the positive things really do not reflect in any way my standing in the theatrical community. It is not for me. It is not as easy for me to accept this kind of attention, knowing that at the same time I have to produce 2 ID cards to cash my, to get my groceries in Los Angeles. I'm saying that figuratively, but that to me is the most astounding thing, that the Star Trek phenomenon is the science fiction of my life, because it has nothing to do with my position in Hollywood, in Los Angeles, with my career, anything like that. It's totally, if anything, it's diametrically opposed to where I am.
There's another interesting aspect to it.